You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving Aurora, Colorado, and all America City.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Aurora News Weekly, A Year in Review. I'm Jackie Polisi.
And I'm Emily Rushing. This past year has been full of stories that made headlines here in Aurora.
And in the next half hour, we're going to take a look back at the people and events that helped shape our newscasts in 2012. We hope you'll stay with us.
Your city, your source for news. This is Aurora News Weekly.
Throughout the year, we here at Aurora 8 work hard to bring you the stories that matter most to you, stories that define the city you live, work, and play in.
So as 2012 comes to a close, we wanted to take a look back at the stories that made our news here in Aurora. Some of the biggest changes we saw this past year happened right here at City Hall.
Not only did the director of Aurora Water step down, but so did two prominent council members.
Longtime Aurora City Councilman Bob Fitzgerald announced his resignation in March in order to accept a job as a prosecutor in the criminal division of the city attorney's office. He still had 18 months on his term. A man quite familiar with Aurora's council was appointed to the at-large seat.
I, Brad Pierce, having been duly appointed as council member at large.
Former Councilman Brad Pierce was officially sworn in on April 16th. Pierce will finish out Fitzgerald's 1.5-year term. He beat out 4 other candidates who were hoping to fill the position. In September, another council member, Melissa Miller, stepped down early to focus more on family and business responsibilities. Miller was elected in 2009. Council members chose longtime Aurora resident Sally Monnier to replace Miller after interviewing 7 candidates. Monnier will represent Ward 1 until the next municipal election in 2013, where she'll have to run to keep the seat. She was sworn into council on October 15th.
2012 also included prominent changes both at the Aurora Police Department and the Aurora Water Department. After conducting a nationwide search, the city chose Marshall Brown to be the new director of Aurora Water. Brown has more than 18 years' experience. He served as the executive director of water resources for Scottsdale, Arizona for the last 5 years. At the time, Brown said, "Aurora Water is one of the most well-respected water utilities in the country, and I'm extremely excited for the opportunity to join the organization." Brown took over in November. Former director Mark Pfeiffer left Aurora Water in January. 2012 also saw an important milestone in the Aurora Police Department. For the first time in its 63-year history, the department has a female commander. Chief Oates promoted Fran Gomez to the 4th highest rank in November. Gomez is a 22-year veteran with the department. She'll oversee the District 3 station in Southeast Aurora. Election Day 2012 was relatively quiet here in Aurora compared to last year when we elected a new mayor.
While the biggest race of the election was, of course, the one for presidency, we also had to decide a number of local races and issues. Here's a look at some of the results.
The biggest race for us here locally, the one for the 6th Congressional District, which because of redistricting now includes all of Aurora. Incumbent Republican Mike Kaufman took on Democrat challenger Joe McLosey, and Kaufman came out on top. Voters here also decided 3 city ballot issues. The first, Question 2A, dealt with the terms of office for the mayor and city council, whether new terms should start at the first regular city council meeting in December after the election. Voters said yes. Ballot issue 2B dealt with transportation and infrastructure projects. Voters decided whether to extend an existing property tax to fund all kinds of transportation projects throughout the city. Your answer? No. And Aurora voters also made a decision on Question 2C, whether the new rank of commander should be added to the Aurora Fire Department. You said yes.
We've also seen some changes with our local political boundaries here this year.
City Council finalized a new map for Aurora's 6 wards in late 2012.
This is what the map looks like currently, with Ward 2 being the smallest and Ward 6 being the largest. The new boundaries will make Ward 3 the smallest, and Ward 6 will continue to be the largest. Aurora has to adjust the borders of the boundaries periodically because of population changes. The goal is to keep the difference in population between the largest and smallest ward to between 5 and 10%. Right now, the difference is about 16%. Ward 6 has a population of about 62,000, while Ward 2 has about 53,000 people. Under the new map, Ward 6 will have about 58,000 people, while Ward 3 will have around 54,000, for a difference of about 6%. The new ward boundaries will go into effect around the end of the year.
According to the 2010 census, Aurora's population overall is about 336,000. This year also brought some exciting changes in the way we communicate with our city leaders. Aurora launched a new service in 2012 called Engage Aurora.
It's basically a virtual town hall that allows you to actively take part in important city issues from the comfort of your home, office, or even your little daughter's Little League practice.
Hi, I'm Mayor Steve Hogan. Welcome to Engage Aurora.
Here's what it looks like. You can vote on a variety of topics, everything from the widening of Arapahoe Road in southeast Aurora to a mill levy tax for transportation projects. For each issue, you have 4 vote choices: love it, like it, it's okay, and neutral. And there's also a comment section where you can share your thoughts.
We hope this virtual town hall technology will make it easier for you to get involved and share your ideas and opinions. Take a minute to sign up for Engage Aurora and be heard.
The site includes a list of who's listening, from Mayor Hogan to all of the city council members. And if English is not your first language, there are more than 50 others to choose from, including Arabic and Haitian Creole. If you'd like to learn more about Engage Aurora, or if you'd like your voice to be heard, go to engageaurora.org.
Well, we all know Aurora, Colorado is a great place to live, and as of 2012, it's even easier to take advantage of all of our city has to offer and to share it with others.
That's because the city launched a new tourism website as part of Visit Aurora, the city's nonprofit tourism agency. The website not only allows residents to find out what types of events are going on, where to eat, and what to do, but also folks from other parts of the state and country. There's information on the arts, golfing, shopping, nightlife, and even how to get around. And you can even sign up to get the latest information on news and things to do sent right to your inbox. Visit Aurora invested about $40,000 to create the website. You can find the website by going to visitaurora.com. Well, 2012 has been an incredible year for transportation projects here in Aurora. Getting around our city will soon be easier than ever.
On July 24th, the RTD Board of Directors voted 14-0 in favor of a proposal by Kiewit Infrastructure to finish the I-225 light rail line.
It's huge for us. It's huge for the region.
RTD staff had recommended Kiewit to the board earlier in the summer over another company that made a competing bid. Only Kiewit's proposal called for finishing the line all the way to the end. That means the 225 line will run from the 9 Mile station at Parker and 225 all the way to Smith and Peoria. That's where it will connect with the East Line, which will go between downtown Denver and DIA. Kiewit plans to have the project done by November 2015, which is about the same time the East Line will be done. Tom Tobiasen, who represents RTD District F, which includes Aurora, says it's not just big news for our city, but everyone else in the area too.
This is a regional project. This is not only just about Aurora, and Aurora will benefit greatly from it, but it benefits everybody. This is huge from the employment perspective, from the patient treatment perspective, from the research, from the student perspective at Anschutz, and also in allowing people to commute to DIA, reducing trips by car, reducing congestion.
Kiewit will finance the project and RTD will pay them back over time. Without the outside help, RTD says it would have taken years to finish the project. Not only will it be easier to get around Aurora once the 225 light rail line is done, it could also mean you'll have a lot more places to work, shop, dine, and play, all right here in Aurora. Not only will the expanded 225 line allow you to easily get from Aurora to the airport and to downtown Denver, it's also expected to open up all kinds of new opportunities for those of us who live here and those who visit.
This completion just kind of shows that Aurora is on the move, making new things happen, creating options not only for our residents, but for visitors, and making it a lot easier for them to come and enjoy our city and live in our city. In addition to the 9 Mile station and the iLift station, which again is under construction, Aurora will get 7 additional stops.
The city's master plan already calls for the future Aurora City Center station, which will be near the Municipal Center at Alameda and Chambers, to become a downtown area. The entire 225 line will run about 10.5 miles through Aurora.
Before Kiewit stepped in to help RTD finish the 225 line, there was only enough money to budget to extend it to Iliff.
Work on that project got underway with a unique groundbreaking that involved demolishing and replacing the Yale Avenue Bridge.
I'd just like to say it's an opportunity for us to put our people to work, to build for the future, and to serve our communities, that of the City of Aurora, CDOT, and RTD.
RTD board member Tom Tobiasen started that work Friday as he broke ground for the final I-225 widening project that began with demolishing Yale Bridge this weekend. But it's not all about the I-225 highway. Yale Bridge will be replaced with a much larger crossing to also make room for the I-225 light rail. And for those of you who are concerned about the construction and inconvenience, the bridge replacement won't take as long as they originally thought.
While our contract says it'll take up to 6 months to replace the Yale Bridge, and that's a critical piece getting across 225 for the neighborhoods. Well, I'm here today to, on behalf of our ownership, we're going to finish that sooner than 6 months.
SEMA Construction Company was the contractor for the $43 million Yale Bridge project, which just a short time later was being called a tremendous milestone.
That's because work wrapped up almost 2 months ahead of schedule. Traffic on I-225 is moving along just fine on this particular afternoon, despite all the construction work going on either side. And now it's once again moving along on the Yale Bridge that travels over the highway. Crews had to tear down and rebuild the Yale Bridge to make room for both the expansion of the 225 light rail line as well as the widening of the highway from 2 lanes to 3. Mayor Hogan helped out with the ribbon-cutting ceremony. There was also a community walk across the new bridge.
The overall cost was a little over $2 million for this bridge and about another $150,000 in bonuses for SEMA because they got it done early. The amount of traffic and savings that people have by taking the shortcut over the bridge, I think, will pay for that. It's a good investment for the people that live around here.
Crews will now focus on getting the rest of the project done.
They're widening the 225 to 6 lanes from 4 lanes with new shoulders, regular size shoulders, which will make it a lot safer. And they're also replacing the sound wall on the west side to protect homes on the west side of the highway.
You can expect single lane closures on 225 between midnight and 5:30 in the morning, Sundays through Thursdays, as well as occasional closures on the weekend. The project, which is being funded by RTD and CDOT, should be completely finished in 2016. As those pieces mentioned, RTD is working with the Colorado Department of Transportation on the Parker to Iliff stretch of the light rail. CDOT is widening the highway in that area between Parker and Mississippi. Once the work is done around August 2013, the highway will be 3 lanes in both directions from Parker all the way to Colfax. While most of the current construction on I-225 is related to light rail, another project that's underway will make it a lot easier to get to and from the Anschutz Medical Campus. Work on the I-225 Colfax 17th Place interchange is moving right along. In March 2012, the new southbound off-ramp from I-225 to Colfax Avenue and 17th Place officially opened. The ramp allows the more than 16,000 employees, patients, students, and visitors who use the campus daily to drive directly to it. The off-ramp is part of a multi-phase, roughly $43 million construction project. The final phases involve finishing the widening of the west side of the I-225 bridge over Colfax and rebuilding the northbound 225 on-ramp. The entire project is expected to be finished in February of 2013. Well, it's been an exciting year of changes at Denver International Airport, which is right in our own backyard. Construction of the new South Terminal is in high gear. We've done several stories this past year about how work is progressing, but our favorite one gave us all an amazing sneak peek at what to expect.
Thanks to the airport's YouTube channel, you can now get a glimpse inside the new terminal. Not only will you be able to see the inside of the 500-room Westin Hotel, but also the public transit center being built for the East Rail line. And here's something really cool. You'll even get to experience what it will be like to see the new South Terminal from inside an airplane that's taxiing down the runway. Pretty neat, huh? The project just recently reached a major milestone.
1, Colorado. 2, Colorado. 3.
On August 29th, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock helped release some of the tension cables from the airport's white roof. The cables have been transferred to the temporary towers during the South Terminal's construction. The South Terminal is scheduled to open in 2015. That's about the same time the new East Rail line and Aurora's expanded 225 line, which will connect with the East line, are scheduled to be finished.
The new South Terminal project is creating hundreds of construction jobs in the area and will create many more jobs once the hotel, shops, and restaurants inside the transportation plaza open for business.
As we said, the new South Terminal will include a train station for the East Line commuter rail that will travel between downtown Denver and DIA with stops here in Aurora.
And if you've been out to the airport lately, you've already seen the East Line taking shape. Here's what the work looked like just a couple of months ago.
You may have noticed large concrete columns going up the last time you drove down Pena Boulevard. Those columns will eventually hold the bridge that the East Rail line will use to travel over Pena. The massive bridge will be close to 2,000 feet above the ground. Fast Track's crews are also welding the steel rail lines along Pena. The work will help make the line smooth so you'll have a comfortable commute. And here's another look at what the East Rail commuter train will look like. We know we've shown it to you before, but it's kind of neat, especially in this drawing with DIA in the background.
The East Line is scheduled to be finished in 2015 and will open to the public in 2016. It will have 2 stops in Aurora, one at Smith Road in Peoria, the other at Airport Boulevard and 40th.
The commuter rail line and the South Terminal are the first of what could be many new projects in and around the airport.
DIA sits on a whopping 53 square miles of land, and plans got underway earlier this year to develop what's known as an airport city.
While the terminal building, concourses, runways, and other parts of the airport take up quite a bit of land, there's still plenty of open space available. Some of it has already been set aside for future runways and other airport development, but even after that, there are still more than 9,000 empty acres. That's where the airport city concept comes in. The idea is to develop that land into businesses, restaurants, hotels, and other projects that will help boost the local economy. The plan would take shape over the next 30 to 50 years and would create tens of thousands of construction and other jobs. It's also estimated that the airport city would generate more than $300 million in tax revenue for the region and the state. Aurora is getting a jump start on the airport city idea with the Porteos project. It's more than 1,200 acres of land set aside for mixed use, and it's right next to DIA. The city of Aurora recently annexed and zoned the property, and Mayor Hogan included it as one of the many highlights in his recent State of the City address.
Porteos in particular is interesting in that its size of 1,287 acres, adjacent to DIA, is in itself a larger footprint than most airports in the world.
Several airport cities already exist in places like Amsterdam, Tokyo, and Shanghai. Probably the most unusual but nonetheless exciting aviation stories we did in 2012 was about Spaceport, Colorado.
The thought of leaving your home here in Aurora and arriving in Australia in as little as 2 hours seems far-fetched, but it could actually happen.
That's because the nearby Front Range Airport is a giant step closer to becoming a spaceport.
The airport is located just on the edge of Aurora in Watkins, Colorado, near DIA. Front Range has now gotten the last bit of funding it needs to do what's called a feasibility study. The Colorado Department of Transportation recently approved a grant request for $275,000 to help pay for the study. The city of Aurora, along with DIA and several other organizations and cities, are also pitching in for a total of more than $600,000. The FAA also provided a grant of $200,000 back in September. The next step is for Front Range to get proposals from consultants and then to pick one to figure out things like whether it makes economic sense to build the spaceport, what the commercial demand might be, and the environmental impact. The executive director of the airport says everybody thinks it's a great idea and it excites everyone. But there's always the question out there, which is there anything out there that would prevent us from doing this? The study should take about 6 months, and the information will be used to convince the FAA to grant Front Range spaceport certification. That could happen a year from now if there aren't any issues, and Dennis Heap, the airport's executive director, doesn't think there will be any.
Now, the reason flights out of a spaceport will be so much quicker than those at a traditional airport is because they'll be flying right on the edge of space.
Wow, Colorado, by the way, has the country's second largest private sector aerospace economy. Well, we've had some major announcements come out of Aurora's education community this year. Linda Bowman, who was the Community College of Aurora's president for 12 years, announced early in 2012 she'd be leaving. Bowman received both a Fulbright scholarship and one from the State Department to do consulting on higher education issues. Bowman then joined the faculty at the University of Denver. The college hired Alton Scales in June to replace Bowman.
And we learned early in November of 2012 that Aurora Public School Superintendent John Berry sent a letter to the school board saying he would be leaving his job before his contract ends in 2014.
In the letter, Berry says that part of his decision is based on the fact that the Board of Education election in November 2013 will have 4 of the Board of Education slots up for election, with 3 of the positions term limited. Berry writes, "So there will be at least 3 and maybe 4 new Board of Education members elected next year. Even though my contract was out to 2014, I would like the current experienced board to have the opportunity to select my successor." In addition to listing a number of major accomplishments by his team during his time as superintendent, Berry goes on to say, "The decision has been a very difficult one to make. I want you to know I am proud of what our team has accomplished over these many years. I have been honored to serve as your superintendent during the worst financial crisis in the history of APS while avoiding a reduction in force. I have been moved deeply by my experiences in APS. After a full career in the military and helping to defend this nation with millions of others, I have been honored to serve with you all in helping to defend the right of every child to learn in APS."
Now, Berry earned the 2011 Colorado Superintendent of the Year title from the Colorado Association of School Executives. He beat out superintendents from 117 school districts across the country.
Just a few weeks after John Berry's announcement, the head of Aurora's other school district said she would also be stepping down. Mary Chesley has been the superintendent of the Cherry Creek School District since 2009. She announced in December she'll be retiring at the end of this school year. Chesley spent more than 20 years with the district, starting off as an elementary school teacher.
Tight budgets have been an ongoing concern for both Mary Chesley and John Berry the past several years, but 2012 brought some welcome news.
Education funding was also a key issue for this election. Voters in the Cherry Creek School District decided 2 issues. 3A, which asked for $25 million to help maintain class sizes and prepare students for college and work, and 3B, which asked for $125 million for school renovations and safety upgrades. You said yes to 3A and yes to 3B. Folks in the Aurora Public School District voted on 3C, a $15 million mill levy override to help the district make up for state funding cuts. 3C was approved.
There were a lot of reasons to celebrate education in Aurora in 2012, including the first ever graduation at Ecotech. The day was finally here. The very first class of Ecotech Institute here in Aurora received their diplomas.
I'll never forget it. It was a very special moment. We'll have graduating classes each term, but this first one, I think, will always stand out in my mind as something really special.
Ecotech Institute, the first and only college entirely focused on preparing America's workforce for careers in clean technology and sustainability, held its first graduation on Thursday, June 21st.
Please join me in welcoming the first graduating class from Ecotech Institute.
42 students received their associate's degrees.
One of the things that drew me to Ecotech was being part of the first class to ever graduate. That's such a milestone anymore. A lot of schools, they're so established that, you'll never be the first. And to be the first was just something new and exciting.
The graduates received degrees in a variety of technologies: wind energy, solar energy, renewable energy, and electrical engineering.
We're really doing good work here. We're training students to become part of the infrastructure in this country for the new energy economy, and that, to me, so it's rewarding on a personal level, student to student, but it's also rewarding in the bigger picture sense as well. It's amazing.
Not only has 2012 been an exciting year for our students and administrators, but also for our teachers.
Amanda Westenberg, a social studies teacher from Aurora's Rangeview High, was named the 2013 Colorado Teacher of the Year in November. Westenberg was recognized and honored by City Council. She beat out 63,000 teachers in 168 other school districts in the state. She's been teaching for 8 years.
2012 has truly been an incredible year. There are so many reasons we can all be proud to live in Aurora. Perhaps the greatest is how our community responded to the theater tragedy on July 20th. We came together to show our love and support and to help each other heal. We're going to do a special half-hour show called We Are Aurora that will air the week of January 2nd.
But first, we invite you to join us for another special edition of Aurora News Weekly next week, where we'll continue our year in review for 2012. Part 2 begins December 25th and looks at new development and redevelopment here in Aurora, as well as changes at the Anschutz Medical Campus and those we lost in 2012. And again, our special We Are Aurora runs the week of January 2nd. We will pick back up with our regular edition of Aurora News Weekly beginning Tuesday, January 8th. For more schedule information, log on to our website at auroragov.org/Aurora8.
Our set for these year-end shows have been graced with beautiful poinsettias, all from Nick's Garden Center here in Aurora. Sadly, we've learned the founder of Nick's, Nicholas Ortega Jr., passed away on December 15th. He died peacefully at the age of 77. Nick's has been a part of our community for 25 years. Our condolences to the Ortega family.
Before we close the show, we want to take a moment to remember the victims, families, and the community in Newtown, Connecticut.
Just as the nation and the world has reached out to us here in Aurora following a horrific tragedy, our thoughts, prayers, and sincerest condolences are with those in Connecticut. On behalf of all of us here at Aurora 8, thank you for watching.
You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving Aurora, Colorado, and all America City.